Welcome, WOLFNET, to another edition of Alpha Strike List Builder Series. I'm Coach, here with you today to talk about kind of a fun list that we played last Thursday. So we left that up to our Patreon to be able to pick what kind of era we were going to play, because naturally we come to our conclusion on scenarios, and we played Headhunter. And so I decided to test a theory that I've been wanting to do for a while now, which is all medium mechs. And to spice it up a little bit, I went with pirates. So right off the bat, the back history to this was I really wanted to try to do units that were semi-fast. So anywhere from 8 to 12 inches move. I wanted to be able to have enough armor to kind of take a hit or two, and also to deal enough damage, not a lot. The idea here was to try to get 2 lances of mechs in my 250 that I can put on the board. And it was interesting. Again, I decided to go with pirates, which, I don't know, throw a little flavor in there and see what we could come up with. And it turned out that you can get some pretty good medium mechs in a pirate list. And so to start off, I kind of just browsed the 40 to 55 ton range, and as you can see, there's not a lot of not a lot of choices you can pick from. So we're gonna first of all start off the bat with let's see, where is he? There he is. And one more thing, quick little edit here. Forgot to add in my my periphery general. Because if we go up here to factions, and we go down to the pirates, and we go IlClan, right here we've got including periphery general. So when we go over our units page, and of course everything, going to IlClan, factions, we type in pirates, and we type in periphery general. Oh, right there. That's why my Shadowhawk wasn't showing up. Rules is always introductory, standard, and advanced, and types battlemech, combat, infantry. I bet he shows up now. There we go. Now we got a lot more. So we're perusing the 40 to 55 range. And to start off the bat, we always go with our buddy, the Shadowhawk. Now, I decided to go with the Shadowhawk 5M just because it was the better of the Shadowhawks. And as you can see, the stat line is pretty good. And this is going to be a theme throughout the whole thing. Medium mech, it's TMM2. It's got 10J. It's a 232. It's not huge. It's not a huge hitter or whatever. But what it does is it's 35 points. That's not a lot. And for 6 armor, 3 structure, TMM2, and I jump, I get a TMM3. It's going to be a little harder to hit me. So to start off the bat, we're going with a Shadowhawk 5M. Now, a lot of these units are, the good old standard hard-hitting mechs that we've seen and grew up with. And you'll see a a theme here that it's a lot of old-style mechs. So next up, we're going with the Griffin 3M. Again, as you can see, very similar stat line. It jumps 10 inches, has a 233, so I get one more long range. and it has indirect fire, as well as LRM 111, I believe. So the really nice thing that I noticed as building these or choosing these units is that a lot of them have at least like one indirect fire. Now, indirect fire 1 isn't great on its own, but when you have 5 or 6 mechs with indirect fire, then all of a sudden, you know, it can become a thing. Now, I kept everybody at skill 4 just so I could fit everybody into a double lance. So the Griffin, again, always classic mech, really good. It just has decent armor, decent stat weapons, and it, you know, comes with a bonus of an indirect fire. Indirect fire is really nice because with all these moving parts in this list, I can hide a couple. As long as I have a spotter, I can throw 1 damage and not get shot at. The next guy I have up here is the Dervish. And the Dervish is one of my favorite mechs. It's just an overall good, solid medium mech. Again, jumps 10 inches. This one is really, really good because it has a 3-4-2. This is one of my bigger damage dealers at 4 at medium range. Has indirect fire. Has 4 armor, 5 structure. So, you know, it can take a punch. And that's the biggest thing about having all these medium mechs is they can take a punch in the first round and keep going. And I played Tommy on Thursday night on our the WOLFNET YouTube Thursday Night Throwdowns. And he brought, I think, 3 assault clan mechs and one heavy clan mech, all dealing 6 damage, 7 damage at medium range, and had very good pilots. I mean, he had 2-3 pilots, skill 2-3 pilots. And the great thing about these medium mechs is they could just, you know, they could take a hit and come back from, you know, I always got 2 rounds of shooting out of each one, pretty much. The next one is my Trebuchet 7M. Now, this guy is very similar to the Dervish, a little lighter on the armor, but has, again, that 10J TMM2, 332, which is a good stat line, 4 armor, 2 structure. It goes without saying that there's obviously a theme here where all these mechs are just durable enough. They have a good enough, you know, damage profile. This one comes with S-Narc. Now, S-Narc is a separate weapon attack, and if you hit the target, any indirect fire or LRM weapons fire at it immediately adds 1 damage. So if I can hit with this S-Narc, then all of a sudden all of my indirect fire units become real powerful. Unfortunately for me, that Tommy was running a Warhammer 2C that had ECM, and ECM will nullify my S-Narc, but it's not easy. You still got to hit. You got to hit with it. But once you hit with it, you know, that beacon goes off, and all of my indirect fire, all of my LRM 111s, they do an additional damage with a S-Narc active beacon on there. So the Trebuchet is a really important part to the unit. So next we go to another one of my favorite mechs. I think it's one of everybody's favorite mechs. Where is he? The old Hunchback 5H. Now, this guy, he's slower, but 440. He's got 5 armor, 4 structure. I try to use this guy, if I can, I will try to sprint him to be able to... I'll sprint him to cover, where he's not going to get hit that first round, because he doesn't have any long-range damage. And I really want to get him into short range so I can maximize that 4 short-range damage. So what I like to do is I try to sprint him into cover, either behind a level 2 hill, or a 2-inch hill, or some trees, or a building, or something like that. Because at sprint, he can move 12 inches, which can get you through the board. I mean, a good portion into the board. Next turn, my opponent needs to watch out for him, because he's going to pop his giant cannon around the corner and hurt somebody. So Hunchback is always good for making people nervous, and he throws a pretty good punch. So you always got to include a Hunchback. The next one, I've got a Hatchetman 5S. Now, this one is not quite on the par of the damage level that I would like. It only throws out 2 damage at medium range. But there's a couple of things I like about this mech. It doesn't move as fast, so that's a knock against it. It doesn't have as much damage, that's knocks against it. It does have overheat. So what I like to do is I like to overheat if I've got a good medium range shot. Next turn, jump, and hopefully get into melee range, which is 2 inches in Alpha Strike. If I'm 2 inches away, I can hit somebody with my melee, which means it's TMM, or it's your size, +1 for the melee, if you can connect with your damage. The other nice thing is because you jumped and you didn't shoot your weapons, next turn, if you didn't take any external heat, you lose your heat. So the idea is to jump, melee, or shoot, overheat. So then I get my 3 damage profile. Jump, melee, reduce or lose my heat. Next turn, move, shoot, overheat by 1, so I get my 3, and go back and forth. It doesn't always work out that way, but that's kind of how I use this mech. Unfortunately, he had to basically be a bait, so I could survive with my other 2 headhunter mechs, and I offered him up as bait to try to have Tommy take him out instead of my other 2 important headhunter mech or commander mechs. The other nice thing about this Hatchman is he's got flak 111, and for all those VTOL players out there like me, flak 111 is almost a must. You got to have somebody in there that's able to take out those helos. So the next mech, we're going with the Phoenix Hawk 4M. Another solid mech, 12J this time, so he's one of my faster movers. A 331 stat line, 5 armor, 2 structure, so he's a little light on the structure, but he still has enough armor. And he even took a pretty good hit from a couple of mechs on Thursday night and still kept ticking. So let's learn how to spell. So the Phoenix Hawk is just, for that 12J, it's really, really nice because, everyone's kind of used to, I can move 20 inches or I can move this. Yeah, well, you've got 1 armor, 1 structure, or 2 armor, 2 structure. This guy packs a punch, he can move, and he can take a hit. That's what I really like. And he has E&E, which is energy, so he has all energy weapons. And so that way, if he takes an ammo hit, it's nothing. It's like a 5 or a 9 on the crit. It's no crit. So Phoenix Hawk, another solid mech in my group. And to round out the list, we are going with my Blackjack. Now, a lot of people look at a Blackjack and they're like, it's not that great and this and that. I beg to differ. Blackjack has a lot to offer. So, especially with the BJ2, it can jump. So if you need to get that extra TMM, you can jump to get 2. It has a 332 stat line, but everyone kind of underlooks it has 1 overheat. So if you really need to, you can pump 4 damage into something, and really up your damage profile for 1 turn. You're gonna take a heat. Some people will just overheat every turn, and the nice thing is he's only 30 points. Now I couldn't scale him down, but at I think at skill 3, yeah, he's only 37. Oop, nope, that's the Phoenix Hawk. I gotta add him here. At 30 points, you skill him to 3. He's only 36 points. That's dirt cheap in Alpha Strike 350, where to get a 332, 1 overheat, the guy's got 5 armor, 4 structure, so there again can take a hit, keep moving. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. So as you can see, all my medium mechs, I've got 8 units, all within, 24, 30, somewhere in between that 32, 33 point range. Comes out exactly to 250 points. That's a full 2 lances of mechs, medium mechs in there, with an average of 3 to 4 damage profile. So yeah, you add all that up, you're throwing quite a bit of dice at medium range, especially if you can hit with your S-Narc. That's gonna be a pretty powerful combination there. To round out my list here, you know me, I gotta go with some with some VTOLs. I gotta have VTOLs on my list. You guys know that. So I went with the Cyrano gunships, partly because they have a very good damage profile for a VTOL. It's 2/2 0-star. It moves 24 inches. And I get an extra structure. Usually they're 1 armor, 1 structure. This is 1 armor, 2 structure. Moves 24 inches. And 2 at medium range for 27 points. That's a steal. That's awesome. Plus I have 2 of them. Still in the blister pack, but I got to get that out here pretty soon and paint them up like the rest of the guys. But it's just a solid VTOL. You use them as objectives. You can use them as TMM4 snipers. You can use them in a lot of different ways. For me, it was a no-brainer. Go ahead and add 2 of those bad boys in there. So I got two Cyrano gunships in there, and then to round out the list, I thought, well, I don't really have any big damage dealer. Well, in this rat table that I'm using with, you can't get any better than combat vehicles. And to do that, we got to go with an Ontos. Good old-fashioned pirated skulls on the front, spikes, big black flag hanging off the turret. Just a big beefy boy. Doesn't move very fast, 6 inches, but it's got a 5.51. And the great thing is that 5.51 damage profile is on his turret. So he's 360 degrees. It's got 4 armor, 5 structure. But his main role is to sit back and play defense. If I'm doing hold the line, or if I'm doing even headhunter would have been a good one, because I can make him my headhunter, and because he has a low profile, the other units have to kind of come to me in order to get at him. But like I mentioned before, I really wanted to play 2 lances of medium mechs in the headhunter game. I would probably have picked him as a as my commander if we replayed it. But he's not. I mean, he's 31 points, solid damage. You come peeking around the corner, you're gonna get a face full. So anyway, that's my list that I went with. It's a pirate list for the Thursday Night Throwdown over on the WOLFNET YouTube page. And as you can see, it's just a lot of stuff that's around 30 points. And you can get a lot of stuff in there. And medium mechs kind of get lost in the shuffle. You know, they're not quite fast enough. They don't quite do enough damage. They don't quite have enough armor, you know, for people's preferences. But I wanted to showcase what putting 8 medium mechs on the board could do. And while I did eventually lose that game, I think I held my own. One more round would have been pretty bad for me, but again, I think in the retrospective things, it was a fun list. I have all these mechs, and they're iconic. It was a lot of fun to play. There are some certain instances where I could, you know, in this list, could I, you know, drop a medium mech and put all of the medium mechs at skill 3? Probably. That's something I'm gonna play around with here in the upcoming future, of maybe dropping out a couple of things and going with 7 medium mechs or 6 medium mechs in the Ontos or something like that, and try to get it to all skill 3s, or maybe even drop more back and try to get 2 skill 2s in there or something like that. The nice thing is they're cheap. They're real cheap, and you can fill them in, and by the end of the day, all that medium range damage is going to add up. And you have multiple targets. You know, you lose one mech, that's no big deal for you. Whereas someone who's bringing 4 mechs loses a mech, that's a big part of their list. So for me, it was just a fun list. I had a lot of fun painting and picking it out and playing with it. So yeah, that's kind of what we were going with for this week's Alpha Strike List Builder series. So. Listen, I want to thank everyone for making these videos so popular. It's a big help for our YouTube page. I'm glad to see all the comments. Let me know what you think of my list in the comments. Be sure to subscribe to the WOLFNET YouTube page, especially this week, because this week is Adepticon, and we will be there. So we will be streaming, hopefully Thursday doubles rounds. And for sure, we will be streaming the Alpha Strike 350 tournament at Adepticon this year. So be sure to subscribe, ring the notification bell so you know when we're streaming. And I just want to once again thank everyone for watching these videos and for being a part of WOLFNET Radio, and for enjoying and contributing to the community that is BattleTech. It is one of the best communities out there, and I'm just so happy that I get to do this stuff with all of you, and hopefully we'll see you in Chicago. If not, Gen Con is right around the corner. So be sure to tune in to WOLFNET. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff at all of them. So just want to say thank you once more time, and have a good day.